Hello everybody, it's me, Shannon Fralish, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator at shannonfralish.com. Today we're going to put this really cute card together using the Whale of a Time suite. I want to show you the products that are included in the suite. You get the Whale Done stamp set and the adorable whale punch. That's a bundle. It's included in the suite. You also get this package of about 1,000,000, give or take, really pretty multicolor, multi-shaped. There's little seashells in here as well, sequins. This beautiful sheer ribbon is part of the suite as well. And we'll get to this last. This seabed large 3D embossing folder, the pattern this creates is incredible. It is beautiful. I'll show you. We're going to use this embossing folder on the card. And finally, this gorgeous designer series paper, 6x6 pad. Look at all the paper that you get. Beautiful little underwater scenes. Look at the school of fish swirling. The whales, it's so cute. Jellyfish, colorful jellyfish. Seahorses. Sea turtles, look at that guy. Oh, how cute is that? And then a variety of underwater scenes with the kelp and seaweed. Look at that whale. Oh, he's so adorable. All of these papers, look at, there's the whole sea creature paper. Oh, adorable. This is all included in the Whale of a Time suite. So we're going to use these products to create this really fun card. It's easy to make, easy to put together, and it's a birthday card. So I want to show you how I made it. Okay? All right, let's move some of our stuff out of the way. I cheated a little bit, guys, but I'm going to walk you through the steps of making this card. What I did off camera just before we went live is I stamped a few of the pieces, right? So I stamped the whale in Blackberry Bliss, and then of course I punched it out with the whale punch. Did you notice here? You get the whale shape. Yes, you punch that guy out, but you also get these other shapes too. So this could be some kelp or seaweed, some splashes that the whale might make, and maybe that's just like, maybe that's a little bubble for him. All right, so that's how I stamped and punched out the whale. I also stamped this cute little sentiment. I'm going to show it to you up closer. I stamped this in Pretty Peacock. It says, hoping all your birthday fishes come true. And then this image is stamped in the new Bumblebee in color ink. All right. So let me show you again the card. It's on a Calypso Coral base. I cut a smaller panel, 4 to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. I embossed it with the embossing folder. And then here are these, the stamped sentiment strip, and there's the whale popped up. I also cut a little bit of the DSP. This is the back side of one of them. It almost looks like, you know, the photography effect called bokeh, but instead of dots or bubbles, they're little tiny fish all swimming around. So I thought that would be cute. It would go very well with the sentiment here. So I'm going to layer these two together and we'll build this card. Okay, so let's get started. So we begin with the card base. It is 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 5 1/2. I'm going to fold it closed, match up the edges here, and then put a nice crease in it with my bone folder. All right, so you get a nice crisp edge. That's the card base. I'm going to set that aside. A moment ago, I ran the Calypso Coral piece of cardstock cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4. I put that inside the embossing folder and ran it through my die cutting machine, and it gave this beautiful beautiful embossed raised pattern on this simple piece of cardstock. You can see all the seaweed and kelp and all kinds, the coral and splashes. And this is all raised up because of the embossing folder. It's really easy to create this effect. All right, so here's this panel, and to it, we're going to go ahead and get started by gluing some pieces together. So I'm going to bring out my silicone mat here, so that I won't get my beautiful grid paper all sticky with different kinds of glue. The tape runner, the Stampin' Seal or snail, any kind of tape runner, wet glue, hot glue, nothing sticks to this silicone mat. So it's really nice to keep your area nice and clean, all right? So here is my stamped sentiment. It is 1 inch by 4 inches, which is, of course, the width, again, of this panel. So it's going to go edge to edge here on the panel. I stamped the fishes, the image twice, and the sentiment, little handwritten. It looks like it's handwritten. It's so cute. Hoping all your birthday fishes come true. So to this sentiment strip, I'm going to add this bit of a piece of the DSP. So I'm going to use my wet glue and just add a little bead of wet glue. Not too much. It always starts out so fast. A little bit there, and add my pretty little bouquet effect fishes on top. And because it's wet glue, I have a little time to kind of mess with lining it up, trying to get it as straight as possible, and then just gently adhering or pressing down here so that the wet glue sticks down to the white cardstock here. So, oh, there's a little bit there. I'm not going to worry about it because it's going to dry. I noticed that my DSP is a little longer there. So when I get done adhering this to my embossed panel, I will give this a little haircut, and I'll show you how to line everything up there. All right. So I am going to carefully, while the wet glue on the mat won't stick to the mat, it would stick to my paper here if I laid it in there. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to lay it over here and add a little bit more glue to the back side of this sentiment strip. Just a little. I use wet glue when I want to adhere cardstock to embossed cardstock, because I feel like the wet glue will get into the nooks and crannies of this embossed piece here. So about, I don't know, the bottom third of the panel, I'm going to line up the left edge, get it as straight as possible. Maybe just scooch it over a bit here. And I see that this panel is a little longer, so I'll just line it up like that and press down. The wet adhesive is going to sort of seep into the nooks and crannies here in the embossed part. Just going to let that go. All right. And let's see, I think it's time to pop up Henry the whale. I don't know if his name's Henry, but he seems like a Henry. So I'm going to pop him up. So I want to add dimensionals to the back side of the whale. And I don't want Henry to sag at all. So I'm going to be generous with my dimensionals and make sure the big areas are covered. And I think I want to add a little bit of a dimensional here to his tail fin so that too doesn't sag. I'm just snipping the edge, the leftover edge of my dimensionals, peeling it off, and that way I can make use of all of my product. I don't waste anything. I'm going to give each one a little push. And then remove the paper backing off of the dimensionals so that they will stick to the card. And I have to say, I really like Stampin' Up! Dimensional, the foam dimensionals, because the adhesive is really good and strong. As you're noticing, it's sticking to me. So let me go ahead, get off that little last one off of his tail. I'm going to throw it away immediately because these little daddies will adhere to anything those things stick. All right, so I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to get the whale. I'm going to lay my card panel here and put the whale there. And Oh, look at that. Look at the seaweed here. Looks like the spout from the whale's blowhole, blow spout, whatever you call it. All right, that is really cool. I love it. I am going to add some sequins now to decorate and add a little more bling and specialty here to our card. I am going to go ahead and use some of the wet glue to place the sequins onto my panel here. So I like to just go ahead and add a little drop of glue where I want my sequins to be. So I'm going to just put a little dab here, here, and then I want to create a sort of a bubble effect with sequins. So I'm going to just put a little bit of glue here, just kind of, just eyeballing it, just guessing, and maybe a little bit right here. All right, so there you go. And then I'm going to use my Take-A-Pick tool with the putty end and go ahead and adhere the sequins that I want. So I'm going to start with one that looks like a shell because that's just too cute. I'm going to put that down here and give a little nudge to kind of make sure that all the wet glue touches it there. I think I'll put a really pretty sort of lavender purple. And we'll hold it down. The other end of the Take-A-Pick tool, that does a great job for holding things down when my big fingers kind of get in the way. Then we'll work on putting sequins in sort of a bubble effect. So I'm going to take a small one because there's different sizes and different shapes here in the package of sequins that you get in the suite. I'm going to put this one down here on this bit of glue. Take my Take-A-Pick tool and kind of adhere it down. Don't worry if you see a little bit of the glue kind of oozing out. It dries clear, so that's not a problem. I'm going to take a little bit bigger sequin, add it here. Use my Take-A-Pick tool to hold it down when my fingers can't. There you go. And then I'll put the last sort of pretty peacock's jade looking sequin right there. Use my tool and hold it down. Again, don't worry, that's gonna dry clear. All right, so there you go. There's the front panel of the card. And so now I'm going to adhere it to the card front. All right, I'll be right back. Before we adhere the front to the card base, here's the interior panel that I'm going to use. And I want to dress this little bit of Whisper White cardstock up by showing you that I cut a 1/2 inch strip of the Designer Series paper. It's that one of the ones that sort of has the underwater scene. I just, a 1/2 inch strip. It's got some coral, some seaweed, some bubbles, and the underwater scene. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the side here of my panel. So I'm going to use just some regular adhesive tape. The new Stampin Up Stampin' Seal works a wonder. It's very strong. It adheres well. I'm going to use what I have. That's an old tape gun there. So I'm going to put this on the, let me bring it over here. I'm going to put it along the side of the interior panel with a little bit of white showing. So I'm going to lay that down at the end. And just go ahead and kind of eyeball it. I want the same amount of little white space along the left edge there. And I'm going to press down. And yes, I notice it's a little longer, so I'm going to flip this over and give it a quick little haircut there. There you go. Yes, I always use, even though there might be something on the back side of my panel, if I flip it over, I can use it. What is that? Waste not, want not. All right, so here's my card base. It is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I flipped it over just as I showed you earlier. I'm going to go ahead and place the interior panel inside the card first. So we're going to just add some adhesive there. Open up my card panel, and like I said, I'm just kind of looking for the same amount of space on all sides. Doesn't have to be perfect, but there you go. There you go. So that gives a little interest, right, to the inside of your card where you can write your note, sign your name, etc. And now I'm going to adhere the pretty put together panel onto the top of the card base. So I'm going to flip this over here and add some tape runner. The back side of these embossed panels is a little smoother, a little flatter, so it's okay, I think, to use the tape. And I just noticed something, kids. I'm going to lay this down. Again, looking for the edges, about the even amount of space on all the sides. And right, it's a little harder because this is tone on tone. I wanted to show you, I noticed that the little seashell sequin fell off in that motion, so I'm going to add a little bit more glue there. Don't want to be without a seashell there. Just apply that back down. Use my pick a tool to kind of give it some pressure. Get that, there we go. That's much better. All right, let's take this silicone mat away. Close the lid on our beautiful, beautiful sequins, Whale of a Time sequins. And there you have it. There is our really cute birthday card, hoping all your birthday fishes come true. And we use the embossing folder, the Stampin' Punch, the sequins, designer series paper. All these little products they all coordinate so beautifully. And it just makes card making a snap. So thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this card made with a Whale of a Time suite. Bye-bye.